They say love is blind. But you know what's even more blind? Trust. Especially when you trust the wrong person with your heart, your home, and your bank account. My name is Rachel, I'm 34 years old, and for 8 years, I thought I had the perfect marriage. A loving husband, a comfortable life, and plans for the future. Then I discovered he was cheating on me. And that was just the beginning. While I was working double shifts as a nurse to support our family, my husband, David, was living a double life. He emptied our joint savings account. $47,000 that I'd worked blood, sweat, and tears to save. But here's what he didn't know. I'm not just a nurse. I'm a problem solver. And when I discovered the secret business that he'd been hiding from me for 3 years, I didn't just divorce him. I destroyed him financially. Legally. Completely. This is a story about betrayal, discovery, and the sweetest revenge money can't buy, but foreclosure can. David and I met in college. He was charming, ambitious, and always talking about his big plans. We got married when I was 26, right after I finished nursing school. The first few years were good. Really good. We bought a modest house in the suburbs. I worked at the hospital. Long shifts, holidays, weekends. David worked in sales for a medical equipment company. Nothing fancy, but steady. Or so I thought. David handled all our finances. He said he was better with numbers, and I was too busy with work. Red flag number 1 that I missed completely. I trusted him. Every paycheck went into our joint account. We were building our future together. Or at least, that's what I believed. About 3 years ago, David started acting differently. Coming home late. Work dinners that happened 3 times a week. Weekend conferences that he never told me about until the last minute. He also started dressing better. New suits. Expensive cologne. A fancy watch that he said was a work bonus. When I asked about money, maybe we could finally start trying for kids, maybe we could renovate the kitchen, he'd always say the same thing. We need to save more first. Be patient. I was patient. I picked up extra shifts. Double time on holidays. I was working 50 to 60-hour weeks, thinking I was building our nest egg. What I was actually doing was funding his affair and his secret business. 4 months ago, everything unraveled in the most cliched way possible. I came home early from a shift that got cancelled. They were overstaffed. It was 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. David's car was in the driveway. Weird, because he should have been at work. I walked into our bedroom and found him with another woman. In our bed. The bed I'd bought with my overtime money. The woman scrambled to get dressed. David just sat there, not even trying to hide it. He looked annoyed that I'd interrupted. The woman ran out. I stood there in shock, unable to process what I was seeing. Then David said something that still makes my blood boil. Rachel, this doesn't have to be a big deal. We can work through this. You're never home anyway. I'm never home because I'm working to pay our bills. I told him to get out. He grabbed some clothes and left. No apology. No remorse. Just gone. I sat on our couch for 3 hours, crying. Then I got angry. Then I got strategic. I logged into our joint bank account. Something I hadn't checked in months because I trusted David to handle it. $437. That's all that was left. We'd had $47,000 in savings 3 months earlier. I knew because I'd checked after depositing a big bonus from the hospital. He drained everything. Nearly $50,000. Gone. I called him immediately. David, where is our money? His response? Our money? I earned most of that. I'm starting a business. You'll thank me later. A business? What business? He hung up on me. That night, I didn't sleep. I just started digging. If he were starting a business, there would be records. Paperwork. Something. I found his laptop. He'd left it in his home office. I know his passwords because he used the same one for everything. Another red flag I'd ignored. And that's when I discovered the truth. David hadn't just started a business. He'd been running one for 3 years. He'd created an LLC called MedTech Solutions Consulting, using his industry connections to sell medical equipment directly to small clinics and doctors' offices. Basically competing with his own employer, but doing it under the table. Here's the genius part. He was doing this all during work hours, using company resources, and hiding it from everyone. His employer, the IRS, and I found spreadsheets showing revenue of over $380,000 over 3 years. $380,000. Where did that money go? Not into our joint account. He'd opened a secret business account that I knew nothing about. I found bank statements. He'd been transferring money from our joint savings into this secret account for months. My money. Money I'd earned working double shifts. But it gets worse. He'd also taken out a business loan. $75,000. Using our house as collateral. Our house. The house I'd worked so hard to help pay for. He'd forged my signature on the loan documents. I found the papers in his desk drawer. Let me be clear. Forging someone's signature on a loan document is fraud. It's a crime. I also found evidence of the affair. Receipts for a hotel he'd been renting by the month. Jewelry purchases. Vacation bookings to places we'd never been together. He'd been using our money to fund his affair with this woman. Her name was Amber, and she worked as his business assistant. Of course she did. I sat back and looked at the full picture. Secret business for 3 years. $380,000 in hidden revenue. Embezzled our savings, $47,000. Forged my signature on a $75,000 loan. Tax evasion. He hadn't reported the business income. Fraud against his employer, using company resources. And an affair funded with marital assets. David wasn't just a cheater. He was a criminal. And I had proof of everything. Most people would have just called a divorce lawyer. But I'm not most people. I wanted David to lose everything, the way he'd tried to make me lose everything. I called my cousin, who's a forensic accountant. I showed him everything I'd found. His eyes got wider with every document. Rachel, this is massive fraud. We're talking potential jail time. Perfect. Here was my plan. Phase 1. Secure my assets. I immediately opened my own bank account and redirected my paychecks. I called the hospital credit union and put a freeze on any joint accounts so David couldn't drain anything else. I also filed a police report about the forged signature on the loan. That created an official record. Phase 2. Contact his employer. David worked for MedTech Solutions Incorporated, a company that had policies against employees running competing businesses. It was literally in his employment contract. I compiled all the evidence of his secret business and sent an anonymous tip to his company's ethics hotline. I included proof of his LLC, evidence that he was using company resources, documentation that he was stealing clients, and timestamps showing he conducted his business during work hours. Phase 3. Contact the IRS. David had made $380,000 and reported none of it. That's tax evasion. I filed an IRS form. It's how you report tax fraud. I included all his bank statements, profit and loss spreadsheets, and business records. Phase 4. Divorce with prejudice. I hired the most aggressive divorce attorney in our city. I showed her everything. She smiled. Your husband is an idiot. We're going to take him apart. We filed for divorce, citing adultery and financial fraud. We also filed a motion to freeze all of his assets, including the secret business accounts. Phase 5. The nuclear option. I contacted the bank that gave him the $75,000 loan with my forged signature. I provided proof that I never signed those documents. The bank immediately started fraud proceedings against David. They wanted their money back, and they were going to take it from him, not our house. Everything hit David within the same week. And I made sure I had a front row seat to his destruction. Day 1. Monday. David's employer fired him. Not just fired. Terminated for cause, which meant no severance, no benefits, nothing. They also sued him for breach of contract and theft of company resources. He called me, screaming. "What did you do?" I said calmly. "I didn't do anything. You did this to yourself." Day 2. Tuesday. The court granted my motion to freeze his business accounts. The judge was not happy about the forged signature situation. David's secret account with $89,000? Frozen. He couldn't access a penny. Day 3. Wednesday. The IRS sent David a letter notifying him of an audit. I know because he called me crying. Actually crying. "Rachel, please, you have to help me. They're saying I owe hundreds of thousands in back taxes." I hung up on him. Day 4. Thursday. The bank started foreclosure proceedings on his business loan. They wanted their $75,000 back immediately because of the fraud. Since David's accounts were frozen and he had no job, he couldn't pay. They put liens on everything he owned. His car, his equipment, everything. Day 5. Friday. My divorce attorney called. "Rachel, David's attorney, wants to settle. He's offering you everything." Everything meant the house, fully in my name, was paid off. His frozen business account, $89,000. His car, which I could sell. Full repayment of the $47,000 he stole. And waiving any claim to my retirement accounts. He'd sign over everything if I agreed not to pursue criminal charges for the forged signature. I thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. Tell him I accept. But I'm not stopping the IRS investigation or his former employer's lawsuit. Those are out of my hands. We signed the divorce papers 2 weeks later. The final tally of David's destruction. Financial losses. Lost his $95,000 a year job. Lost his secret business worth $380,000 in total revenue. Gave me $136,000 in assets. House equity plus accounts. Owed the IRS over $120,000 in back taxes and penalties. Owed his former employer $50,000 from their lawsuit. Legal fees, at least $40,000. Total financial hit? Over $400,000 in losses and debt. Legal consequences. Fired for cause, no future employment references. Potential criminal fraud charges are still pending. Destroyed credit score. Can't get hired in his industry. Word spread. Personal consequences. His affair partner, Amber? She left him the moment the money disappeared. Turns out she liked him for his successful business, not his personality. His family disowned him after finding out what he did. He's living in a 1-bedroom apartment, working as a warehouse manager, making $18 an hour. He's on a payment plan with the IRS that will take him 15 years to complete. As for me? I paid off my student loans with the settlement money. I renovated my kitchen. The one I'd wanted for years. I took the vacation to Italy I'd always dreamed about. I'm still a nurse, but now I work for myself as a travel nurse, making almost double what I made before. I'm dating someone new. Someone who values honesty, respects my work, and would never dream of touching my bank account. And every time I walk into my beautiful home, the home that's 100% mine, I smile. So what did I learn from all this? First, trust, but verify. Love doesn't mean being financially blind. Always know where your money is. Second, document everything. I had proof of every single thing David did wrong. That proof saved me. Third, cheating is just the symptom. If someone will lie to you about an affair, they'll lie about everything else, too. And fourth, the best revenge isn't getting mad. It's getting everything. Today, David owes more money than he'll probably ever make. He destroyed his career, his reputation, and his future. All because he thought he was smarter than everyone else. Me? I rebuilt my life, stronger than before. If you're in a relationship where something feels off, trust your gut. Check those bank statements. Ask questions. Protect yourself. Because the person who should have your back might be the person stabbing you in it. Thanks for watching, and remember, nobody can steal your future if you take it back first.